All right, man. We're sitting at week 17. We're week 17 is right here, man. This is Dave here, one half of PNP. I'm here for your fantasy waiver wire Q&A. And yes, if you're still in the playoffs, you might need some help. There might have been some injuries that might have hit you. That might be the Rona. But it looks like with the new protocols, these players are going to get back here on time, since it looks like it's only going to be a 5-day wait period. If you're asymptomatic, or however they're going to do it this go around, so it'll get interesting real quick. So, couple players. Yeah. Look, bro, Dallas defense been playing well all season. But that happens, man. I lost because Tyler Johnson didn't get any catches against Carolina this week. And I also lost because I played Saquon Barkley, and I had Sony Michel and Darrell Henderson on my bench, and I made the decision to sit them both because I wasn't sure how they were going to do the split. Then Darrell Henderson gets hurt, and Sony Michel gets all the work. So I had like 40 points sitting on my bench. It was very, very depressing, to say the least. But I went 2-1 in the playoffs this week. So I'm in the finals in one. I'm in a third-place game for another. In another league, for some reason, they decided they're going to play through week 18. We got to fix that. I'm glad I could help, man. You know, I mean, I tell folks all the time, the first step is to draft well and scour the wire throughout the season. And then once you just get into the dance, anything can happen. Anything can happen. Anybody can win it at that point. So congrats. Hopefully you can go in and take home a trophy. But I'm here for your questions. When it comes to desperation, well, I wouldn't call them desperation moves, so to speak, but like there's probably a couple guys on the wire that you can go after, like somebody like a Rashad Penny. He once again had another good day on Sunday. So if you need help, that would be an option. Let me pull up the schedule because I am not sure what these opponents are looking like before I answer that question about the defenses. Like a line of spell schedule. Let's see here. Week 17. Who are you looking for? You got 49ers or Saints. Oh, Saints playing us. I can tell you a story about that in a minute. I think I'm going to tell you the story in a minute. But let me see who the 49ers are playing. Texas has been playing hard this year, man. Been playing hard as of late. I might be leaning towards the Saints against us. Hey, man, third place game, bro. Third place game, and you can't predict what happened with Dallas defense. So, you know, those are the breaks, you know. But let me tell you a quick story about this. So 2 years ago, I was in the fantasy finals. I think it was 2 years ago. And I let my fandom get in the way. This was week 16. The Panthers were playing the Colts. And I think you know how this went. I played Colts defense in only 2 out of my 4 leagues when I could have played it in all 4. And I was in the fantasy finals in 4 leagues. If I would have played Colts defense in all 4, I would have won 4 championships. Instead, I won 2. I let my fandom get in the way. And I say that going with this question here, 49ers defense versus Saints defense. The 49ers are playing the Texans, and the Saints are playing the Panthers. And I have no faith that the Panthers offense is going to get better in a week. So give me the Saints defense over the Panthers defense. I mean, if we would have kept Teddy, I would have been open to that, bro. Couldn't do nothing about it. I mean, as much as I want to talk about fantasy, man, I got some rough news prior to this show, and I want to, we'll probably have a quick conversation about it. If you guys didn't know, legendary coach, legendary commentator, and legendary legend of video games, John Madden passed away at the age of 85 suddenly. So like for some people, they might have been around to see when he coached the Oakland Raiders in the late 60s and in the 70s. Some folks might have first got their introduction to Madden watching games on CBS and eventually on Fox. And some folks might have got their first inkling of Madden playing this video game that started in the 80s. But either way, whatever way you knew the guy, he was a legend. He changed how folks played video games, how football was played in video games. He changed how commentating was done, and he was a hell of a football coach. Almost had an undefeated season on the Super Bowl year when they won Super Bowl 11. So shout out to John Madden. Condolences to his family. He was a legend in football. He could have probably been in the Hall of Fame in 3 different places if he wanted to be. So shout out to him. The PNP Leagues, Slim only says that if he's in the fantasy finals. And we all know it. Let's see. Live and let live. Ooh. Oh, this is going to be a good final, though. Tony trying to win his second one. That's going to be a good one. That's going to be a good one. Are you? Let's see. Are you? Yeah, you are. Of course you are, Slim. Mike Evans isn't playing? Is that confirmed? It don't matter. In the grand scheme of things, it don't matter. If you need wide receiver help, I'm pretty sure Robbie Anderson's available. And as much as I want to be joking, I'm serious. Like, Robbie Anderson is a legitimate option if you're desperate at wide receiver this week. Another guy that could be, that's probably the only guy I would trust that might be out there in the waiver wire. Running back wise, like I said, Rashad Penny. Quarterbacks, Taysom Hill should be back. Taysom Hill probably still gashes. Trey Lance is going to be an option for you if you're desperate at quarterback. And Justin Fields. Those are your 3 options. I don't know if I'll trust Gabriel Davis in a fantasy final right now. So, but at this point, I say what I always say, bro. You go with who got you there. And that's the point that you're at right now. You got to go with what got you there. if you made it to the finals, congratulations. Your squad was good enough to get you there. So you made it to the finals. Wow, the Tuesday stream. You must be new here, bro. But I know you're not because you'd be up in the chat. Tuesday is fantasy focused. We do fantasy questions here. So the Tuesday stream, we're only going to have one more week of this. I go live Sunday to take Q&A prior to kickoff, and then I go live on Tuesday as well. But now I go in. It ain't as much viewership as the Monday show, and that's fine. I have no problem with that. Oh, 204, Debo Samuel, Antonio Brown. Oh, well, I got to ask me again on Sunday because I might have to go on Renfro over Antonio Brown. But let's monitor the Bucs situation with the wide receivers. If Mike Evans is out, you might have to do Antonio Brown and Debo. Otherwise, I think I will go Debo and Renfro. Renfro's been balling, man. He's been a PPR monster. And I think you got to also pay attention to see whether or not Waller's returning. Because if Waller's returning, that might impact Renfro a bit. I am in one final right now, and I'm in another league where I'm in the semifinals because they're playing through week 18. So I went 2-1 in the playoff rounds this week so far. And the one that I'm in the finals in is a 16-team league. And I have an outside shot. If I told you my wide receivers were, you would understand why. My running backs are trash. But my wide receivers pretty much took me there. No, Josh Allen and my wide receivers. My wide receivers are Devontae Adams and Debo Samuel. But it's the finals this week. So everybody's got to play. But it looks like this year we're not going to have too many folks rested in week 18. Because a lot of people that have an opportunity to get the 1 seed. So there might not be too many players that are going to be rested. So there might not be an issue next week. But, if in a perfect world, most leagues will be done after week 17. But there might be some. I'm in one that goes through week 18. So I will be doing the show next week to help those folks out when it comes to the debt with the depth. No, absolutely not. I'm playing Debo Samuel. I think Debo Samuel is getting carries out of the backfield and he's getting target share. And I think that's not going to stop with Trey Lance. That's just my opinion on that. Oh my God. I mean, we knew it was going to be a matter of time, right? Because they figured out what everybody already knew. It's money over health every day, all day. Just like we were on Twitter talking about how they're trying to put the college football playoff players in a bubble. And my reply was, there ain't gonna be no bubble. There's not gonna be no test around. They're not gonna test these kids. They're not testing these kids. You know what I'm saying? Like, I guess UCLA and NC State, they canceled the game the day of because of COVID protocols. Can't be doing that, man. They ain't gonna test these kids. Even if Elijah Mitchell's back, I still think Debo's going to get some carries. I really do. I don't think that's going to change anything. If you're desperate, man, you can go with KJ Osborne. But Thielen's probably going to be – Thielen's going to play. So at best, he's the third option. But if you're desperate, I think if Robbie Anderson is available, he's a better option. Because at least Robbie's finally getting some level of target share. But it goes back to monitoring who's going to be the starting quarterback for Carolina. Because I have a feeling it might be Sam Darnold this week. So just keep an eye on it. I'm originally from South Carolina. And I live in New England now. Bro, like it becomes a different discussion. How important are these bowl games if you want to keep it a buck? Like, how important are these bowl games? Like, the only bowl games we really care about is the CarQuest Bowl and do we really care about the CarQuest Bowl or the Little Caesars Pizza Bowl or the Chick-fil-A Bowl? Or like, do we really care about these bowls? There's only 3 games we care about. Like, we don't really care about the bowls. Like, I don't care about the bowls. Like, I don't care about the bowls. Like, do we like to put it in perspective, the Celebration Bowl a few weeks ago on December 18th has the highest attendance so far. 2 FCS schools is out doing all these sponsored bowls. Like, I don't care about any of these bowls. You know? I mean, I just think, and I think it's comical when people say, oh, we don't want to have our kids playing too many games. That's why we want to have a full-fledged playoff because, we got to think about the academics of the kids. Well, you out here having these damn bowls during their break. Like, are you really caring about the academics of these children? No. You definitely thinking about their well-being. Why are we out here doing all these damn bowls? There's like all these bowls. There was like a San Diego Bowl. I'm like, so now cities got bowls too? Like, we just out here just giving out all these bowls. It's all about the money, man. Straight cash, homie. The great Randall Moss. Straight cash, homie. One bad week don't mean you should panic. You should panic more if Waller comes back. If Waller comes back, you should be concerned. But I wouldn't be panicking too much. The Metro Housing Bowl. I used to do jokes with my friends about the name of these bowls because some of the name of these bowls are ridiculous. They need to have a Bojangles Bowl. I'm kind of shocked they don't have a Bojangles Bowl yet. Like, this is a blown opportunity by Bojangles. I'm waiting for the Cookout Bowl. I want to see the Cookout Bowl. Patrick Mahomes. Because he got to win. Who do the Chiefs play? The Bengals and the Chargers play the Broncos. Yeah, give me Patrick Mahomes. Absolutely Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes. That's easy. Patrick Mahomes, boy. Scoreboard. Well, I mean, PlayStation should have been had a bowl. The Sony PlayStation pretty much saved Sony as a company. I don't think a lot of people realize that. They saved Sony as a company. They were on a steep decline as a company. And the PlayStation got so big that they had to have their own separate division. Look, man, don't worry. We're not going to be canceling much of anything else anymore. I mean, now folks only got to wait 5 days before they can come back out in these streets. Yeah, I told y'all my cookout story yesterday about how I was in line for an hour. But, when there's only 3 people working there, you can understand why. Let me see here.
As the Omicron variant here.
Ooh, I don't want y'all to hear about the Marion variant. Hold on. Sorry about that, guys. Yeah, I'm looking up some other stuff. No, I agree. Yo, folks have been playing with it for a while, man. And now that the players are not going to say if they have symptoms because they know that if they do, they're going to sit out. So now they're not going to play. Now they're not going to tell. They're not going to be honest with their coach. They're not going to be honest with the health officials. So that's where we're at this point when it comes to it. But at least you ain't got to worry about players not being available for fantasy purposes anymore. So with them changing the rules, like somebody like a Carson Wentz, if you were planning on playing Carson Wentz is going to be available now initially because he's an unvaccinated player. So initially he was going to have him sit for 10 days. He would have been out. But now he's going to be able to play. So it is what it is, man. It is what it is. But let me see. Let me fit. My light be acting up, man. I be bumping into stuff. Oh man. I mean, it's a safe start. I would give him a safe start. Yeah, he has been on decline over the past couple weeks. I will say that. But now if you're expecting wide receiver 2 low end wide receiver 2 flex numbers, you should be fine. I just hope you're not looking for wide receiver 1 numbers from him. So I will play him if I have him, unless you got somebody better. And if you got to the finals with Mike Williams, you might be okay. I always tell folks, man, you can control who you draft at the beginning. You can control all the waiver wire moves you can make. But once you make the playoffs, man, it gets wild. It gets wild. There'll be some folks who ain't done nothing in fantasy all season that could lead somebody to the finals at the end. No, I still don't think we can beat New Orleans. And Taysom's going to be back. So, no, I don't think we can beat New Orleans. Yeah, that was a mistake. I would have kept Mike Williams. But I wasn't a Miles Sanders guy all season. I mean, I think that's well documented. I wasn't a Miles Sanders guy all season. Yeah, you got to play them. You have to play your guys. You can't. I know there's reasons why you would love to sit him, but you got to play him. There's no point of getting cute at this point in the finals. I don't know who we can beat. Jacksonville? The Jets? I think we beat the Jets, though. Houston, maybe Houston. I would love to have a dub, too. I would like to have 2 dubs because we have 2 more games. I just don't see it. I mean, we're more talented than a lot of these teams in the league. We just don't know how to. I think we're just getting out coached. You know, it's kind of tough to accept, but that's the way it's been. Can't really do nothing about it when you keep getting out coached. But yeah, man. I hope so. I believe he is. Week 17 might create a clearer picture from a playoff standpoint. You know what? I think I want to show you guys something on Underdog Fantasy. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second to pull it up. Games are meaningless, bro. All these players are professionals. All tape is there's too much tape to say that they're not meaningless to these guys, man. These players want to play to win. These players are not out here not just there to risk their bodies for meaningless games. They're trying to win these games, so it ain't meaningless from their perspective. I know it's easy to say for us as fans that the games are meaningless, but from their perspective, nah, they want to win. I always go back to I don't know if some of you guys might be basketball fans, but The Last Dance, when Jordan talked about the season where they didn't want him to come back and play, and Jordan wanted to come back and play because he felt like he could get the Bulls to the playoffs, and so he pushed hard to come back and play, and he knew that the organization wanted to tank, and he wanted to kind of show it to him. And the Bulls ended up making the playoffs, going up against the Boston Celtics in the first round. They ended up being eliminated in the first round, but I think for Jordan, that was his playoff debut. So like he really wanted to get to the playoffs. All right, so I wanted to talk about best ball real quick. So give me 1 second. Let's see. Let's see here. Cam, the player. No, I don't. People got to remember this, dude. The Dolphins started 1-7. It's fantasy talk tonight, buddy. That's what it is on Tuesdays. All right. So I wanted to talk about best ball. So basically, what best ball is, I'll show you one of my rosters because I don't want to hop into a draft. So give me 1 second if I can complete it. So there's this thing called best ball, and they have 2 tournaments right now. They got the Gauntlet, and then they got the Mitten. The Gauntlet is a higher stake best ball league. And I believe first place is like 25,000. I think there's up to $1 million in prizes. I'll pull it up. Yeah, first place is $200,000. The way it works, you get into a draft, and then you draft your team. There's another one called the Mitten that's a little bit cheaper. It's a $5 entry fee. First place for this is $15,000. And you got to qualify by getting the most points. There's a qualifier, then there's a division round, and then the semifinals, then there's the big game in the Super Bowl. But you pretty much draft players and you get points based on how they do each week. And the more points you get, the better. Now, you notice that some of these players might not be playing right now. They might not even make the playoffs. I have to start one quarterback, one running back, two wide receivers and tight ends, and a flex, which could be either a running back or a wide receiver tight end. So this is the squad I have. Now, there could be teams here that might not make the playoffs. For example, the Ravens might not make the playoffs. So then Lamar Jackson will be moot point, right? But if they do, it'll get interesting. Or somebody like a Derrick Henry, he might not play in the first game or two. So things like that. You got to take into account of bye weeks and things of the sort. Like Alvin Kamara might be a moot point if New Orleans don't make the playoffs, right? So there'll be a wasted roster spot. But then, some risks you got to take. Here's another squad I have. Like I took a risk with Dalvin Cook. Damien Harris is going to be a good one for me. But it looks like Eckler. The only running back I might have that might play all the games is Damien Harris. So for a lineup like this, I'll be rooting for a New England Super Bowl. I'll be rooting for the Patriots to get there because Damien Harris might be the only running back I have. Wide receiver wise, I'm indifferent. But you might draft players that might not make the playoffs. And we're getting closer to the end of the season, so there's more and more playoff teams that are going to clinch. So it'll be interesting. All right, hold on. I got a question. Let me see what the question is. Looking for a QB. Lance Field, Mayfield, Big Ben, Mac Jones, Mills, Goff, Tua, Wilson. For me, in my head, I'm thinking I would roll the dice on Trey Lance, but I don't think I want to do that. I'm thinking no Taysom Hill out there, huh? Jesus, these are some terrible options. I mean, if out of those, yeah, Lance might be your best bet. Either Lance or Fields. I don't think I want to play Mayfield or Big Ben. I think that's too big of a risk. I would probably roll with Lance. I mean, you have not really. I mean, that would probably be like that hasn't been a thing in a long time for any sport, really. Maybe NBA is probably the last one that did it. I mean, from that standpoint, you never know. I will go with Trey Lance to answer your quarterback question, sir, Eddie. Go with Trey Lance. I don't think I would touch any of the like Tua's interesting. But I think out of those, I will go with Lance. I wouldn't go with any. Lance, you're a better bet here. I would take my chances with Lance. So yeah, man. Shout out to Underdog Fantasy, man. There's been a pretty cool sponsorship. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna probably draft some more teams prior to the end of once it gets closer. Once we have more of an idea who's gonna make the playoffs. It gets harder the closer you get, though, because everybody knows, if you do your proper research and such. You know what, man? I want him to get there, bro. I do. I really do. I want him to get there. But this might be another situation where 10 wins ain't going to be enough for him, which is kind of unfortunate. Right now, Miami's at the top, though. Miami might mess around and make the playoffs, bro, which would be kind of crazy to think. Yo, if Miami makes the playoffs, Brian Flores got to win Coach of the Year, right? He has to. He has to. Be the first team in NFL history to start 1-7 to make the playoffs if he does that. He has to win Coach of the Year. Miami probably got a tough schedule. What's their schedule looking like? Oh yeah, that's brutal. They got the Titans and they got the Patriots to close out. And that's going to end up being they might flex that game because that might be winner go to the playoff type of game because Buffalo might end up clutching the division by then. Ooh, that's going to be an intense game, man. But by the way, you got to remember something, bro. And you know, it's funny because we always have these conversations about getting into the playoffs just to be one and done. But the reality is, man, once you get in the playoffs, anything could happen. Dolphins can mess around and have a crazy run. Dudes won 7 straight games after starting 1-7, and now they're the 7th seed in the AFC. Like, so you can never count this stuff, count these teams out. Like, if you're hot, you're hot. So, but yeah, I'm looking at the situation in the NFC. Oh man, if Philadelphia gets in, I want the Vikings to get in so bad, bro. But I just don't think it's gonna happen. Saints definitely gonna get in at this point. They're gonna have to win out. Any more fantasy questions before I adjourn this show? Because I've done my 30, and I'm ready to start getting ready for work tomorrow. Because I'm actually going to try to go into work tomorrow. All right, it's been fun, guys. For my Patreon, stay tuned. Me and Rashad still got to iron out the time to when we're going to do the Patreon for the month of December. But you guys have a good rest of your evening. Enjoy the rest of your week. Always remember, keep pounding, guys. And it's been Rule. I don't know. I don't think they should go after Deshaun Watson anymore. I think Miami just needs to roll with Tua at this point. Why give up all that draft capital, especially if they make the playoffs this year? I mean, Tua's been playing pretty well, so we'll see what happens. 1-7 to 8-7. You can't be mad at those results. But all right, guys, it's been real. You have a good one. Always remember, keep pounding.